Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we will be going into another opening. This time it's not the French defense, this time we'll be looking at the Sicilian defense, but instead of looking at black, we'll be looking at white's position today. So as you all know, the simple variation of Sicilian is e4, c5. And today I'll be showing you guys how to play against the Queen b6 variation with white. So obviously this is only for those who play open Sicilian. If any of you play knight to c3, then this variation would never occur, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But even if you all play knight c3, there's no harm in looking at this video today of me discussing the Queen b6 variation. So this variation usually occurs when black plays knight to c6, and after d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4. Here, instead of the usual traditional moves like let's say knight to f6 or pawn to d6, which I've seen many times, or pawn to g6 or pawn to e6 either as well, we're going to be looking at a line which is not the main line for black, certainly not. However, it's become pretty popular nowadays. Like I've seen many players nowadays who have just been introduced to the game, or even high-rated players play this variation. And white does have a really good idea, so that's what I'll be showing today. And the move black plays is queen to b6. So as of move 4, black plays a move that white's not seen in many of his games. And if you're new to, let's say, playing open Sicilian, you would have surely not encountered this any time while you're playing. Well, what is the idea of queen b6? Well, for starters, your knight's under attack, so you've got to do something about that. So what is the move here? Obviously, if you play bishop to e3, you're giving away your pawn, so that's not what you have to do. Well, there's a simple line behind how to play against this, and it's a very solid line, and that's exactly what I'll be showing you guys today. So the move you play here is knight to b3. Black obviously continues with knight to f6. That is the line, so anybody who plays queen b6 should be knowing the line, and he will play knight to f6, attacking your e4 pawn. Now you do simple move knight to c3, protecting your pawn. And here the move black plays is e6. What is he planning to do with e6? Well, he's planning to play bishop to b4, and at the same time attacking your pawn here because it will be pinned. So he's trying to act a little cheeky, and here the move, which not many players play. Usually you see the move bishop to d2 or bishop to e3 or some kind of move like that, but here the correct move is actually queen to e2. Well, what is the idea behind this? Well, for starters, if bishop to b4 ever comes into play, you can just simply play bishop to d2, which is exactly the line that's going to happen right now. But what if you don't play bishop to b4? What is the other alternative? Well, the other alternative is playing pawn to d6. And if black doesn't play bishop to b4, white should become more aggressive and move bishop to e3. Then he has a better attack. He's already developed 3 of his minor pieces. Just this little bishop is under a little bit of threat, to develop. But what white also does with this move is he enables himself to castle queenside, and that helps his rook get an open file on the d file, a semi-open file, that is. So white should probably play bishop e3, followed by the simple plan of g4, followed by g5, push f4, and just completely dominate this position. So usually black does not let white do that. Obviously he goes with bishop to b4, which was his main idea, the reason he plays this variation. Well, simple move like bishop to d2 stops any of his threats, and after castle by black, and and a3. Obviously black would not take this, because after b takes e3, he's already created all of these weaknesses for you to exploit as white. You have a dark squared bishop. This very bad position for black to be in. So he will usually not do that. Instead, he'll go back bishop to e7, hence losing a tempo, and his plan of bishop to b4 fails. And after pawn to e5, you have to force him to go knight to e8. And after queenside castling, white is obviously better in this position. I mean, you look at black's position. Okay, he's got a bishop, which is not exactly doing anything, a knight, which is not doing anything at all, a bishop was going to stay trapped for a while because of his own two pawns, his queen's in a very awkward position, not doing anything, rooks, this rook is stuck, he's created multiple weaknesses for himself here and here, everywhere, and you can easily exploit it by playing knight to e4, knight to d6 anytime. So that was the main line, and that's the line which you follow, and I will be writing down the opening number if you guys want to check it out. It's actually b33 from theory. So that was the main line, and while we're at it, I'd like to show you guys a game which was played between two strong players. Now, pardon me for my butchering of the name, but it was between Zhang Pingzhang and Balog. It was played in 2006, and Zhang was black, and he was 2,600 rated, and the other player is 2,500. And he ended up losing the game. Well, let's just see this game. So it went as e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c d4, and d4, queen to b6. Simple. Knight to b3, knight to f6, knight to c3, pawn to e6. Now you see how he's just following the line, and here instead of the usual bishop to d2, which you see a lot, he follows the line and plays queen to e2. Well, black, instead of going bishop to b4, which is again the main line, here decides to alter from the main line and goes back to queen c7. Now what happens when he plays queen c7? Well, you realize he's moved his queen twice now, first to b6, now back to c7, just to protect from this e5, and it's only move 7, so that's already bad for him. White pushes g4. He's planning to attack black. He's not giving him any time to adjust his position. Black plays pawn to d6, pawn to g5, forcing knight to go to d7. And now bishop to e3, just planning his development. Black plays pawn to a6 to stop any of these type of threats anytime soon, but knight to b5. White queenside castles, he doesn't care less about that. After b5 with black, we have pawn to f4, bishop to e7, pawn to h4. You realize he's attacking a lot. Knight to b6, queen to f2, attacking the knight on b6, rook to b8, forced, king to b1, just a formality, knight to a4, knight to e2, just retreats, bishop to b7, knight to g3, rook to c8. Black really doesn't have a plan going on as such, if you see, and white's just trying to build his attack on the king side. Pawn to h5, knight to a5, bishop to d4, and now black's in a little bit of a trouble here. Knight to c4, pawn to h6, the only move to save himself. e5 takes, rook to g8, rook takes at 7, and after this the game probably went on for 3-4 moves, and black eventually resigned. So what did we realize from this opening? Well, it's a terrible opening for black to play because he gives white the advantage straight away. So if you guys did enjoy the video, do hit the like button, subscribe, and I will be posting more variations and how white can tackle them, so make sure you stay tuned to this channel. If you do play Open Sicilian, it'll be an excellent video for you to watch. So anyways, thanks for watching guys, and please subscribe and like, and thanks for watching again.